Okay. Sinidapi. That means my spirit is really happy to meet your spirit. And how are you doing? So, welcome to Native Wellness's Wellness Wednesday. I'm very chilled out here. Uh, Nistu ni Daniko Makoyo Sukoi. Nistu Skapi Pikani. Nistu Sixakea Tepi from the Blackfoot Confederacy. We have a team of elders with Native Wellness Institute. And so today I'm bringing you Wellness Wednesday. Hey, Shauna. But just say hello to everyone. I I welcome you. You know, it's a very interesting time in that we just came off of in America. We just came off a very beautiful weekend where families spent time, quality time, most of them. Nobody went to jail. I'm just kidding. On the res, there's always somebody in jail after the 3-day weekend. They always say, read between the lines. So, anyway, I was just sitting here, and I just laugh because it's just res humor. Things happen, but after, a long 3-day weekend. So, welcome to Wellness Wednesday. We always this time of year, it's like there's ripe cherries around here. It's still Blackfoot territory, but the Salish and Kootenai, this is their, especially the Salish, this lake right here, and the Kootenai. They have stories. Aaron Perry, who used to be our elder with Nanakoa. This is like in the 1990s. Nanakoa, which is the National Association of Adult Children of Alcoholics, began in like 88 and 89 with trailblazers like Joanne Kaufman, John Bird, Cecilia Fire Thunder, Jean Herone. There was Avis Archambault. These are names, and I think just a couple of us are alive. I'm not dead. Do I look dead? I think, I'm not dead yet, so. And I'm not afraid to die. That's a weird kind of thing to. I wanted to welcome you to Native Wellness Institute's Wellness Wednesday Power Hour. And what you see in the background, they call it Flathead Lake. And I remember we always used to have jokes because there was a lot of our descendants are half Salish Kootenai and half Blackfeet, so they used to call them blackheads and flat feet. So that it's just the res humor. And since we have a lot of mixed tribes, we have a lot of that just happens because Indians fall in love with Indians. And Indians look at Indians, and if they're all hormonal or it's whatever, it's springtime or what, they don't need an excuse to go snagging sometimes. And sometimes you snag, and that snag turns into a baby. So raise your hand if any of your snags turned into a baby. Not the snag, because sometimes they're a baby too. Anyway, I guess I got a good sense of humor. But this lake, I have some stories to share with you about Bucksequay. In Blackfoot, that means like a grizzly bear, or Kyayo, Kyayo, depending on the dialect, means a bear, very significant. But before I start, I know there are a few bears here, but they're black bears. This body of water that you see right here is down really low with the climate change. And if you can look out, I might take you for a walk later, but I'm just like chilled out. And speaking of, that coming back and kids are in school, people started their new jobs, people got divorced, people broke up, people got married. We had like 10 marriages of our young people. It was just marriage here, marriage there, marriage. Badass auntie, I just said, well, give it a try. You can always get divorced. It's just the humor of, love and romance and courtship. And so this lake, okay, so I'll start with just, since Aaron, I come here and I always put out Pistascon tobacco, because Aaron Perry, one of our elders with Nanakoa, this is called Blue Bay. And he really believed that this is a Blue Bay healing center. And so I always stop here, and I get emotional, but today it's like, I guess it's a happy emotion, because I always feel special emotion, because there's some eagles flying around, there's a couple people going out in boats, there's and right up above me is medicine, this tree right here. We would call it high cedar or a juniper. And we're surrounded by medicine, the water medicine, the air medicine. And the air is clear today from the fires. And so the story that I heard from Aaron Perry crew back then was that long, few hundred years ago, when the Salish came to this area, there was a sweet tipi, these water spirits. And these water spirits, they wouldn't allow anyone to kind of live around on this lake. And so sometimes when people would come, they would do things to, make them go away, mist to go away. And so when the Salish came here, they needed a place to stay. They were hungry. They needed to hunt, and they had, come from the coast. They came all the way from the coast, and so there was an Indian woman, and Rosemary Kaye. I know she knows this song, and I know others know this song. I know her family does. But when she came to the water's edge right here, she knelt down and she kept her head bowed. She didn't look at the water spirit that was there. And she sang it a song, and they still sing that song here with the Salish and the Kootenai. They sing that. It's a song to the water and acknowledging how powerful water is. And so she had kept her head down and she sang the song, and then in her language, in Salish language, she asked permission for her people to stay here. And the water spirit granted it. And so it's very important that they always renew that lease. That you renew, our ceremonies are annual. They're, it's the fall, where our bundles, our canoes, all of our ceremonies is about cycles. And so they always come down, and I, if I heard that song, I can't sing that song, and I'm, Nisto, I'm Skapi Pikani, I'm not Kootenai or Salish, but it's just a beautiful, I can just, imagine Rosemary Kaye or someone in her family, they're Kootenai, and it's, sometimes you really have to say, who's Kootenai, who's Salish, because sometimes they put people together to, Navajos and Hopis, they try to put them together. They try to put us together. It was intentional by the settlers outside so that we would have animosity and be so busy fighting each other we couldn't fight for our land and our language and our kids. Anyway, but I always, when I'm sitting here and I can feel the peace. I can feel the peace of this water. And so I wanted to ask you, because now that the grandkids are back in school, you got them school clothes, you're getting into the routine, go to bed early, you get the cycle, or the cycle of going to work, coming back, getting the kids. And I say the kids because we all have a bunch of kids. I was just, I was 65 first cousins, and they all got kids, and they all got kids, and they all got kids. There's a lot of kids. and how beautiful that is. So I posted a picture on Native Wellness Institute earlier, just about an hour ago. I'm driving. I'm driving for a very special reason because Native Wellness Institute is allying with ACLU, and the Montana ACLU has a new executive director. Her name is Akila Deernose, and she is married to Ray Deernose, who's of Salaga Crow, eh? And then they have 2 daughters. And so they have requested to have a ceremony with their staff so that they have wellness in the workplace, and that they ask the spirits to help guide them because they got a tough job. They have to find justice for all the indigenous in Montana. Like, I'm like, okay, all 8 reservations, woo. So ACLU, so that's where I'm headed. We're gonna have the ceremony in the morning. So I'm saying prayers now because they have an awesome staff. There's another niece, Sharon, Kicking Woman, works there. Several, and I'll call them nieces and nephews because they're just brilliant. They're just brilliant, and they've been doing a good job on, missing and murdered. They did an excellent job in getting out the vote, and they're prepping right now for 2024 because all these Indians in Montana are going to vote. All the BIPOC and all the indigenous are going to vote in 2024. So, and they have a lot of social justice around any kind of infraction of sovereignty. So get that, any kind of infraction of sovereignty. Woohoo! Oh my God! So that's where we're. So say prayers for us because it's actually her staff, and they really want to connect and have the synergy of each of their brilliance together. So they don't want no backstabbing, no gossiping about each other, that kind of stuff that destroys the teamwork on a staff. So that's where I'm headed to. But I wanted to share with you, I shared, and I hope you can look at the video on Native Wellness Institute. This morning, and all of you, it's the Harmony, Native Wellness Institute, our executive director, Jalene Joseph, some of our main, Jean Tagabon, who you saw last week, Lavina Louie, Lori Newbreast, Marcus Red Thunder, Shailene, who headed the 20-something, and now they're getting to be 30-something, but there's just an incredible team of Tomas, Sierra, Howie's coming. We just have this incredible we're just growing. Casey Nicholson, Cecilia Fire Thunder, John Spence, happy birthday, 42 years sober. Oh my God. Some of our I mean, it's just it is amazing. It's just amazing. So I got up this morning, and that's where I live on Lower St. Mary's. They call it Lakeside. And I've been thinking about, because with this climate change, where I'm going to lead to that video you saw with the 3 grizzly bears, and I think, look at it again. I haven't. I'm going to stop because I think it's a silverback grizzly bear. The coloring on one of the humps, and so I was just sitting there, and the sun was just about to peek over the ridge. And I always like to watch the sun come up, and I like to watch, if I can catch it, the morning star. And if you can get up before the morning star, the mistaken star, we call the morning star, I was just sitting there and quiet, but I could hear something way down the way, like in the bushes. I could hear, and I thought, sometimes those squirrels, they kind of move around, but I was waking up. And I don't drink coffee, so it's a slow process. And so I sat there, and Muffet Little Dog in her sweats, when she used to doctor us, she had a calling song, and I dreamt that song, and so I sing it almost every morning, or I sing it sometimes, if I'm going to smoke my personal pipes, or just when we're praying with a talking circle are together. And I guess, I'm a traditional practitioner, and a lot of you out there are traditional practitioners. if you're Indian and you pray and you got a clear mind, you don't take drugs, and you're kind and you help others, you're a traditional practitioner. So congratulations to you. So when I was sitting there, I remembered 3 days ago, and I guess that's part of what we're in a time where it's very important to remember your dreams and record your dreams, you know, for your self-care and for your wellness. Record your dreams. And it was 3 nights ago, and I was sleeping on Lower St. Mary's, where I live, and I've been living there 29 years, and I don't know, I keep like a smudge going in the house, and it was just a very prayerful time. But I had this dream. And I looked out my front door, and to the right there was a bear. And I couldn't quite see it, but the bear started to make the sound, and it was singing. It was singing a song. So it was almost like, you know, and let's see, how could I do bear? Like, it was like, it was like I could see in the dream, I could see the bear with its open mouth, and it was singing a song. And I was just, in my dream, I was going, oh, it's about to be. Help me if I can catch that, because it's hard for me to catch a song. I'm not like a singer. And I said, Creator, if you can help me remember what that bear's singing. And he was singing a song. And I just thought, oh, and I just, you know, my hand to my heart, I just said, thank you. Thank you. In the dream, I'm still in the dream. And I said, even if I can't remember the song, I'll remember that you sang that it was the time that you're, and it's not just to me, singing to the world. It was like singing up. It was singing up, you know, to that morning star, to that full moon that just happened, that blue moon. It was singing to the comets that just happened. It was singing to, you know, Mercury in retrograde. And that's why you're supposed to be careful now. You know, you're supposed to go slow. You're supposed to go intentional. Otherwise you get in car accidents, or you feel like hitting your relative, popping them in the mouth, and you do. Pop, no. You know, when you feel like that, you're not supposed to do that. Part of wellness is walk through the feelings, let the feeling happen, and then see what you need to do to dialogue or to come together to have forgiveness around. But sometimes, you know, how many of you just popped a relative? Just had to knock them out? No. I mean, you know, but sometimes when we feel like that with a relative, or we really get upset with them, or we need to step back and not react and reflect. And sometimes it's detachment, because maybe it's not the right time to try to prove someone wrong, or to debate, or to argue with them. So anyway, I was this thing that I seen, the video that I showed you, in that dream, that bear was singing, and it was like a singing for goodness. It was not a warning. It was like a bear was singing a song that pay attention to what's happening. And so of course I woke up, and then I was visiting with I think I only told my mom and my sister and my friend Timothy. You know, we talk in the morning sometimes, and I think I told him, you know. So what happened this morning is I went back in the house because I'm packing some medicine. We're going to Vancouver, the Native Wellness Institute. We invite you all to come, in case you want to just jump in the car and come up to Vancouver, British Columbia. It's the 9th annual Healing Our Spirit Worldwide. And Jolene sent us an email and said there's already 3,200 registered, and they're expecting at least 4,000. And 400 Maoris, oh my God, 400 Maoris already registered from Aotearoa, New Zealand. The big white cloud over the island. There 400 at least are coming from there, and they're saying a lot of and there wasn't many Americans registered. Interesting, huh? Why is there not Americans registered for this Healing the Spirit Worldwide? Well, they're going to remedy that, because next year, National Indian Health Board, oh, I don't know if I'm supposed to be announcing this. I better shut up. I don't want to spill the beans. But anyway, the 4,000 that are coming together, I was thinking about them, and I went in and I had turned on some music and I started to pack. But I was packing for Vancouver, and I started to pack gifts, because everyone there, you bring gifts and there's exchange. You know, like this. I'm wearing this because I got this when I first started working in Alaska. It is it's just an incredible piece that a grandma did, and I think it was from Chichino. And so I'm wearing it because I'm going to give it away in Vancouver. Might be random or just, you know, someone. So we're packing. So I was packing, and I swear, right when I turned, that was the video I took. I heard that noise, and then so I pressed pause to get quiet, turn my music off, and I just stood still. Because whenever you see a bear, you should assess it first. So stand still, don't run, don't be like those crazy white people that just go running and they get or what was that one bear on cocaine? I swear to God, how do people think this up? But I just stayed still, and I was in prayer, in happiness. So I just said, Hayo Shabatapi, Hayo Nina. You're letting me see. And then another bear came. And it's just about to be. Please just let me acknowledge. And then a third bear came. And so I was praying, and it was telepathic by then, because I didn't want to use my voice. So it was like I started praying for them, and I said, you in the prayers, they look so good. They were plump. If you saw that, they've been eating berries. They've been eating. And so I was just praying for the bears. And then that moment, you always have a moment of caution, because, you know, that first grizzly bear, you know, they're strong, could just come through my sliding glass door. But that wasn't, you know, I just prayed for them. And if you look at the video, and I think it's my friend Danny down the street, Danny England, there was a gunshot, like a boom, and then the bears kind of go, like, they kind of got irritated, the bears, and like, oh, that's irritating. And then so they went around the front of the house. They kind of scurried up. So if you take a look at the video. But the reason I wanted to, first of all, you know, any apologies, because, you know, there's certain in Blackfoot societies and bundles, there's certain Nanamska that we don't openly talk about Kyayo or Boxikwe. So I apologize. And there's I'm not going to go into the reasons for that. You know, you can come next summer when you drive through for 2 weeks and learn Indian in 2 weeks. I always love people who come home for 1 week and then they're expert Indian. And I mean, I'm sorry, because I know some of us can only go home on vacation, but so I'll tell you the things that I do know. And the reason I'm sharing it, because I think it will help with this climate change. Because at the same time, the 3 bears ran around the front, the beaver that's building its lodge underneath the lake goes swimming by. And so I was looking in the back and I see the beaver, and then I was, you know, again, caution, because then I did go get a weapon for self-defense, and I thought, well, we'll just they're not bothering me, and if they're not bothering me, they're going to go by. They're eating the berries, so then what happened is the smallest bear just falls on the ground and pulls down the branch like this, and is eating the berries, and then the other bear goes up against the telephone line and was scratching its back on the, I mean, it was just like the cutest. I guess I'll post those too, because for the next, I don't know, I lose track of time when these things happen. I just videoed them eating berries, and then that's where it started to the next story. I just thought, I always put out tobacco and in Blackfoot, so that you never you reignite the treaty with these bears, you know, because long time ago, and part of that reigniting is you always take that first ripe Sabbath berry, and it has to be, you know, ripe and juicy, you know, where just, ooh, ripe and I still have some ripe and juicy berries around my house. So you take that first berry and you pray with it that all of, you know, the kyayo, the boxikwe, that they have long, healthy lives, and that they have enough to eat, and that they have a good summer before they hibernate. And then you pray for your own people, you know, like Hayos Tabata Bispumukana Sixikai Kainai Abatsa Pikani and Namskapi Pikani. And then just as many of the societies, the Motokiks, the Ganakstimata, the Nanamska, the Aquiniman, you know, the thunder, the bear, the beaver, you pray with that berry, and then pray for your family. Like if someone's having trouble, you know, with addiction, or we did have a lot of marriages and a lot of divorces. Pray with them that there's healing and that their next relationships are better than the last one. You can say all these prayers. You pray for, you know, the equinox coming up September 22nd. You pray for the solstice coming December 21st. You pray for, it's like the cycle. You pray that when the astui, you know, when the snow comes and the blizzard come, that everybody has shelter. I'm holding the berry. And then, you know, you can pray for things. You don't pray for, you know, oh, please give me an iPhone Pro Max 14, you don't pray like that. Or please get me a skinny waist like Barbie. Tsa. Or please make me have a plump butt like Beyonce. Sa. Anyway, this is my humor. So with that berry, you finish, and it's good to pray a long time. It's good to pray a long time. And then at least it got one person laughing. Is we pray, and then we bury it in the ground, and that reignites our treaty with Kyayo and Boxikwe. And that also means you'll never have no bad encounters. You can pray for that there's no, you know, no bears. It's okay for them to eat tourists, but not Blackfeet. They've ate the whole Taurus, except for their feet, because their feet stink. No. But I mean, you can pray that no one gets hurt. Pray that, you know, that no one gets hurt. And you know what I don't want? I joke about Taurus, but damn, I'm glad they're leaving. Bye-bye. Kitakito Matsuno. Spend your money and get the hell out of here. No. Just only because, you know, sometimes they interrupt our smooth cycle of just being Indian. And then they quit asking stupid questions. Jeez. Are they, anyway, they're, Creator, I apologize. I should not be judging white people, but I have to, because I still have my ancestral epigenetic rage, and I don't like what those mofos did to my ancestors. I don't like the smallpox blankets. I don't like the throwing my parents in boarding school and my grandparents. I don't like the things that they did. So guess what? I don't know if I'm ready to forgive some. And I think that's okay. I'm just going to live today and we're doing the power hour, and it's about healing. So I'm going to finish some of this teachings of Kyayo. Because this morning, after the video that I showed you, I just went saying prayers, and I lit a smudge, and I just wanted to be peaceful. Except, I had deadlines and had to look at emails and that kind of stuff, and I did. But what I decided is I was going to triage, and so this is something I'm recommending. Native Wellness is recommending triage, all the stressors. And we did this during the pandemic. Triage them and just do triage and choose one at a time. One thing at a time. Don't be spinning the plates. That anxiety or that adrenaline rush by spinning 10 plates. Okay, yeah, I got to write this, and oh yeah, this is deadline. Oh yeah, I got to pay the rent, and oh yeah, I got to get this fixed on the car, and yes, I got to take the dog to the vet. When we're doing all of that, mindfulness is spinning plates. We need to triage it and just. So I did. So I asked the bears, and I just watched them. I said, I'm just going to sit here, and I know you have a lesson for me today. I know you have a lesson for me today. And look where I am. I'm taking another moment. Things will get done. And I'm talking to you on Wellness Wednesday because Native Wellness made a vow to be here every Wednesday. Last week, thank you, Gene Tagamon. He jumped on, and on our teams, we're all excited right now. There's 13, 14 of us. We're packing our stuff, and we're all flying to Seattle, and then we're going to drive up to Vancouver. And so this bear. So I just sat there, and I thought, when I go on. I always think about the Power Hour on Wednesdays. I'm just going to share some stories about what I have learned, or what we have learned in the Blackfoot Confederacy from bears. Because we have, they always say they're like our brother, we can't eat them. And I almost, one time I was just the Anishinaabeg up there, and someone had bear, they harvested this bear, and they made some chili, and I didn't know, I just thought that was chili, but soon as I took the bite, soon as I took the bite, something inside my entire being, I spit it out. And I couldn't explain it, and then I was looking frightened, and my friend Julie Smith said, "What's wrong?" And I go, What's this stew made out of? And the woman had made it out of bear. And so that I know that spiritually, like if you put some kind of food in your mouth and you need to spit it out, there's a reason. And I'm glad that happened. And then I had to go out by myself. I was crying and apologize because I didn't know, and I had to put out some tobacco, and I just had to apologize because it's like your relative, the bear, like if you're Bear Clan, or there's 584 tribes, we all have these beliefs. But that berry, and I was just thinking, because there's still some beaver bundles being closed, and there's some transfers happening, and always in our ceremony there's a part where the greatest thing served is berry soup. And sometimes, in some of it, there's stuff added, and people have transfers to make those berry soups. But that when you take that one berry, it's such a beautiful compact, like a cultural protocol of what you pray for with that berry. And a lot of it has to do with that power of the bear, the medicine. because the bears, you know, they take care of us. And just, you know, just FYI, you know, in the lower 48, only in our area around here are there grizzly bears. There's not grizzly bears in New York. There's some two-legged grizzly bears, eh? There's not grizzly bears in Florida. There, you know, there's some two-legged grizzly bears in Florida, or, you know, Los Angeles or Seattle, any of that. There's only grizzly bears in this area. And right where I live in the video up the way is a grizzly bear den. And they say it's like every 7 or 8 years they have cubs. And so if you look at it, you know, it was hard to tell if that was a mom and 2 cubs or if it was 3. And it might have been, you know, I have to relook at it because I just took the video and then I got in the truck and it was all packed and I came here and I'm spending this hour with you just on wellness. Welcome to Native Wellness Institute's Wellness Wednesday. And we always just, it's storytelling of healing. And so these 29 years, I remember the first couple of years that I lived with these grizzly bears. And I was instructed that the best dog that you could ever get is a Karelian bear dog, spelled with a K, a Karelian bear dog. And so our friend John Bird, they had an abused Karelian bear dog named Sam that he was still young, but he had been abused, and he didn't like men with bald caps. And we learned this later on because he didn't live at John's very long. He kind of was always around my place, and so I just started feeding him. And we were building treaty because he was an abused Karelian bear dog, a full-bred Karelian bear dog. And it took about, I just remember the beautiful lesson that I learned. The first was, when you're rebuilding trust, just like rebuilding trust with betrayal, or you're rebuilding trust with deep hurt. This is for humans for animals. When someone has been betrayed, like, you know, I was just my nephew, and I'll just say his name, Gray Cloud. Because he put it out there too. He said, you know, he had been betrayed by some people. You might have been betrayed by a spouse. You might have been betrayed by a boyfriend, a girlfriend. You might have been betrayed by a friend. You know, a friend that sleeps with your husband or wife, or sleeps with your romantic partner, is not your friend. Hey, this badass auntie telling you that is not your friend. And I would say in those kind of cases, usually drugs and alcohol is involved and people aren't thinking straight. But when there's been, so with Sam, what I learned, and Sam was, I had him for 15 years. And the reason I had a Karelian bear dog is because of that dang grizzly bear den up. And there was grizzly bears. I live with grizzly bears, and I love it. It's just a beautiful place to live. But to keep yourself safe, you need a Karelian bear dog, because Karelians they're a Russian dog that they're a hunting dog, but with bears, they can jump. I mean, they could jump as high as this picnic table. And usually Sam, I've seen him do this to several bears. Like if they're around, he'll just like go and he bites them in the tail and he spins them around and he'd chase them off. He just had a way. It's instinctive. I guess that's why they call him the bear dog. And so I was able to live that 15 years with Sam Iron Pipe. And we gave him, you know, you always name our Indians because my Iron Pipe side of the family, they were always, and they still are, holy people, the ones that are clean and sober. They're holy people, and they were, just like many Blackfeet families, they held bundles. They held very important bundles for the whole Confederacy. And smallpox, like Joseph Iron Pipe, he had 3 wives, and they all passed. And a lot of his relatives, our ancestors, died, and there was just him and Paul Ironpipe. And that's Doug Fitzgerald's grandpa, Paul Ironpipe. That's why that's my close nephew that lives and helps me all the time. So this this protection that you get. And I was just like, when a bear was singing in the dream the other night, you know, and I'm sharing this because you should really pay attention to your dreams. Whatever your dreams are going to give you. I have to drink my Perrier. That's my one addiction, is sparkling water. Pellegrino or Perrier. Or bubbly. Or club soda. With a lemon. And anyway, I was just Sam Ironpipe and the Bears. So what Sam Ironpipe taught me, and you know, and I'm a person in recovery, and when you're in recovery, or at least, you know, when I was in recovery, before I got into recovery and I was still a drinker, I used to own a lot of weapons, a lot of guns. I always liked my boyfriends, and my loves were combat vets. They always had, you know, semi-automatics and shotguns and 9mm, 45s, all the kind of stuff, because that's the kind of not good health stuff that you do when you're still active drinker. And when I got sober, I left Robert Zelonis, and I just gave him all the guns. I gave him everything. I just said, I just want my freedom, and I was gone. And I was sober, so I was free. And so when I just remember that freedom, and getting back to the bear story, you know, with Sam, and I didn't want a weapon. And so this is what I learned. This is what I was taught. And it had to come from my brother and Fish and Wildlife. And they said, do you know where you live? Where you live, you should have a weapon for self-defense. And I was just thinking now, sheesh, all of my female relatives, I tell them to take gun safety, and I tell them to get a weapon, and most do. And now most are hunting, you know. But back then it was a big. So this is my lesson with the bears. Is I remember my brother bringing me a 9mm with a couple of clips on it, rapid. It could shoot 15 rounds, and so then I got 147 grain hollow point. So that whatever I was going to shoot at, once it enters, it explodes. If it was going to be self-defense, you're going to be gone. And I just say that now because don't freaking mess with a woman who can self-defend herself. Don't mess with a woman who can defend herself. And since then, I've never had to. I never had to kill any boyfriends, eh? But this is the lesson with the bears and Sam Ironpipe. So one of the stories I wanted to share with you is I would go out, right? Yeah, let's laugh about it, because even though you feel like taking them out, it's good to go through the feelings and see where they come from, and to let that stuff go. And they say, you know, if you feel like taking someone out, you should pray for them for 15 days in a row. And it works. Pray that they have long, healthy lives. Pray that they have an unconditional love. Pray that they have a roof over their head, that they have plenty of food, that they have a good job, they have a good running vehicle. Whoever that one that you want to pray them into goodness, and it helps you let it go, and you don't have to carry. They don't take any part of your heart anymore. They are gone. And that's even though it seems like line them up, okay? No, no. So Sam Ironpipe and the bear, I would always, I'd had Abby Bullshoe, and she was a papered Rottweiler, and Sam Ironpipe, and they actually had children, so they were half Rottweiler and half Karelian. They were badass, and that's that's what Ocon was supposed to be, but Rover got in there, so it's half Karelian and half Border Collie. And that's just like our grandchildren. We want our grandchildren to be Indian, but some are half African American, some are, they came from Mexico, or some are half white. You know, we have to, our new world, we have to love all of our grandchildren, no matter what their race is, and then teach them. If they have multiple races, then they need to learn each of them. And so the story of the bear is, I was out when Sam was walking on this side and Abby Bullshoe was walking on this side, and I did have my firearm. Oh, I had to reach down because I shouldn't be carrying it right here. I do have a right to carry, but I shouldn't be. Maybe. I have the holster, but I don't have anything in it. I'll just carry my sunglasses. Anyway, we're walking along, and we're just having, it was a hot day. I remember I had shorts on and a tank top, and it was a hot day, and I thought, well, later on I'm gonna go swimming in the lake. I didn't know it was gonna be real soon. So we came, and someone had put one of those big garbage cans, you know, we're not supposed to have, where we live, you take all your garbage to a bear-proof garbage can, or you take it to the dump yard, or you do not have, we don't have garbage. And so there was this large garbage, and I go, oh shoot, I wonder who put that there. And just right as I said, oh shoot, two bears stuck their head out of the top of the garbage can and just came out at us. And this was so fast, and they were coming to like attack me, like that. But then Abby took one and was just rolling around fighting this bear. And then Sam spun the other bear around. Like I said, they grabbed they bite the back of the bear and they turn it around and chase it away, Karelian style. So I had my weapon, and this is the story of how it's just like instantaneous. I saw Abby and the bear just like fighting like this, and I thought, I can't shoot the bear because I might shoot my dog. And then I thought, they're fighting, I don't know what's going to happen. And I thought, the only way, and this is survival, that I can protect myself is if I go into the water. So I went straight into the water, and I just held the gun up, and I thought, well, if it comes after me, I'll have a shot. And this, I don't know if that was just survival instinct. And so then I went into the water, nothing came, and I could hear Abby whining. Whew. And just reliving that, it was, I ran up, and there was Abby. She was bitten but not ripped, and but she was bitten, and the bear, Sam had chased that bear away, and they came back and got this bear, Sam Ironpipe, and chased that bear away. So I couldn't carry, my dog was too heavy, and the house was, you know, a good 3/4 of a mile back home. So I just had to run as fast as I could the gravel road, because I needed to get the truck to get my dog and go to the vet. And I just remember, oh God, just running, where you run so hard and you're so frightened that your lungs burn. And I just remember, they were burning, but I got to the truck, I started it up, and I came back, and there was Abby on the road. And so I picked her up, and I had blankets, and I put Abby in the back of the truck, and I just drove to Ethel Conley's. I drove to the vet to help her to be taken care of. And so when I took her there, Ethel had it wasn't ripped, so she ended up just stitching her, and it was antibiotics. We had to give it to her for 2 weeks so that any of the bear bites were just like little bullet holes. But here's the lesson, you know, what I learned is we're in bear territory. We are on their land, and we got to play by their rules. And back then, you know, like now, I wouldn't, you know, first of all, I shouldn't even went near that garbage can. I shouldn't have been in an area where it was enclosed. You need to be out. You need to be in a place where you can have self-defense. And if you see a bear, you know, stay still. Just stay still first. You know, there are all those, because you don't want to react, because it's if you react, they react. And that was from this, you know, this morning was a peaceful serenity, just a beautiful, I feel like it was a blessing from a bear. But that was, you know, back in what, maybe 96, 97 with Abby Bolshew. And so all of these years, there's been, what have I learned in these 29 years? I have learned that if you pray with that berry, there's a harmony that comes. A harmony of living with bears and not being afraid, but not doing anything stupid. I have learned that berry, and like even now, like I don't, it isn't about getting all the berries. I mean, when I was a real active, brave dog, I would always be picking berries and drying them. We dry them, we don't freeze them. You know, we put them, you put them in a cardboard, and you put, you know, like paper towel, and you put the berries in there, and then you just shake it every day. And my grandma's, Atstanikiwa and Awatski, they always had white pillowcases, and they would just put the berries in there, and they'd hang it on the clothesline, and then they'd hit it every day. They'd just hit it till they were all dried. And Grandma would say that's food for up to 10 years when you got dried berries. And so the berries is just connected to the bears, is connected to preparation for winter. What I have learned from bears is to get prepared for winter. And so in the preparation, that's, you know, Kevin Trombley just delivered my last load of wood. Ben Taylor just filled the 1,000-gallon and the 500-gallon tank of propane. My nephews are putting a brand new roof, a tin roof, on my wood log cabin right now. Just getting prepared. I bought a new freezer. I gave away all my buffalo meat, except I filled that freezer so that I'd have some for my brother Ira when he comes to visit. I filled my mother's freezer, and I'm going to fill my sister's freezer. But it's preparation. And so like today I was even thinking I was getting out my mucks. I mean, you know, it's I think it's 70 degrees, and I'm here on, you know, Flathead Lake, Salish Kootenai territory. Ooh, look at those boats. Now I want to kind of jump in. But what else are the bears living there? I also learned that of how ferocious they take care of their children. They teach their children, like today in the videos, and I guess I'll put a couple more on them. They were just herding them and teaching them how to eat as much. They eat the gorge, they eat the licorice plants, they get enough so that when they go into their den, they can hibernate and they can sleep. And even that enzyme that enzyme, that bear enzyme, shoot, one of our little relatives, they flew him out. They couldn't figure out what was going on, so they had injected some of the bear enzyme, and it started all of his pancreas, his liver, and his kidney working. So either, and I'm not saying to eat the bear, but bear fat. And so I guess my stories, my mother, yellow flower woman, Euskiptidaki, always, especially when we moved back home, would always, and my brother Ira was head of Fish and Wildlife, and would get the bear tallow, the bear fat. And the bear fat has medicine. The bear fat, you know, when you prepare it, Mom used to prepare it, and now she designated Sister Lori Newbreast prepares it. And I get the benefit, you know, because we get jars of bear fat. And so in this 29 years, I've seen bear fat help with everything from skin wounds to helping with your hair. I mean, your hair gets, you know, our hair gets thinner, and it's kind of interesting, you know, what our hairs, what our hair can do. But they used to sometimes take the bear fat and rub, you know, they didn't have all this product that we had. My one friend, when she was going through chemo, I brought her a jar and just told her to rub it on her hair, and it was kind of cool because she didn't, even going through the chemo, she didn't lose all her hair, and her hair's coming back really good. But the bear fat too, you know, like I had an open wound once on my leg from falling flat on a rock, and when it started to scab, I would put bear fat on it. And then when they took out, I have a total knee replacement. And when they took out all my old knee that was bone to bone, and they put in that titanium knee, in the incision, when it closed, my whole leg, my mom, my sister, and myself, I rubbed it with bear fat, and it healed. So it healed quickly. And I was thinking, now, shoot, it's been since 2016. I probably should rub some more. Rub some more bear fat. But bear fat, and you should always talk about your own experience. This isn't like a Google. This is not stuff maybe you could Google this, but bears give us a lot of healing. Bears, it's just like, we'll talk about how, you know, a good gift that you can give someone is a teddy bear. And smudge it before you give them the teddy bear. You know, they can sleep with the teddy bear. Shelly Sky up in Treaty 3 area gave me a teddy bear right like the month before we went into the pandemic. And that bear, I have slept with it. It sleeps with me. I got my pillows and my little teddy bear. And it's getting so old, it's missing one eye, and I thought, this is just how it is, you know. But I wrap it. It has its own little blanket. I got it in my suitcase now because it goes everywhere I go, because it protects me. It's symbolic. And then Sydney Stone's granddaughter just gave me another bear, a little teddy bear, and I put it in my truck to protect me to not get into any accidents or any head-ons. So that something symbolic that looks like a bear can protect you. It will protect you. And so that is another lesson of the grizzly bear, or the boxicue, and the bear. And I was just I was thinking, because when I was saying the prayers this morning, in that video you've seen, part of my prayer was that they get real cozy into their den. That they, and you know, in the den, I know Lee Lone Bear, he told me when he had cancer that the fungus inside the bear's den, he needed that, and he needed it for his Indian medicine. And so I told him, "Are you crazy? You want me to crawl in the den and get you some. But I said, what about if I give you just bear fat? He started laughing. He goes, yeah. So I drove the bear fat all the way down to Lame Deer and gave him a jar of bear fat, and he used it, and he lived longer. And so I'll have to, I don't. He how he used it, he lived longer with that cancer. Lee Lone Bear down at Northern Cheyenne, Mahio had helped him. So that there's another. I'm just sharing you with the experience because you should share how you've seen it, doctor, and you should share how use this. Think and welcome to Native Wellness Institute's Wellness Wednesday. And look at the medicine that during this pandemic we have reevaluated and we're retransforming. Look at the things that we can use and that we can share with others, like gift to others. The things in our transformation, it's like right now, I'm going through another sequence of using chaga. And everyone always says, aren't you tired? And I go, no, I go to sleep when I get tired. And I sleep 8 hours and I wake back up and here I am. But I think sometimes when people ask you that, that's how they feel. Tired and exhausted. That's how they feel, remember? And I was just thinking, how come, I feel even, how come I have serenity? How come I can sleep 8 hours? And I think that cycle has to do with that chaga. CHAGA. You can go hard. It's the fungus of a birch tree. I just was given some raw chaga. I've been eating raw chaga, but you can also get it, at natural groceries and smudge it. Always, whatever, if you buy something like it, even if you get lavender or tea tree or whatever, sage, smudge it and you reinvigorate it, and then the medicine can work. Trust the medicine. Trust the process. And and for all the babies being born, trust the process, that they'll get to grow up just like you, just listening to Wellness Wednesday, trying to inspire yourself, trying to be a better person, trying to live well, trying to be kind, trying to forgive, trying to, and share your story, because your story is someone else's survival manual. Gene Tagabon says that, and I always just like to say, yeah, Gene, that is so true. So I think it's been an hour. I got to go meet my relatives, Akila, Deer Nose, and Ray, visit with them, and get ready for the ceremony in the morning. And so we'll see you next Wednesday. I just really wanted to share this space and share some of those stories about bears. So until next Wednesday, Kitakito Matsuno.